This week's gospel brings us to the end of the liturgical year, and in this story that Jesus tells, it brings us to the end of time, right? He's talking about when he comes back, when he returns to the earth at the end of time, what's he going to do? He's going to gather up everybody, and he's going to judge us and separate us like a shepherd separates sheep from goats. That's probably an image that's lost on you. It's often lost on me as well. I think what Jesus has in mind is this: sheep are they're followers. They stay close to their shepherd. They know that they need a shepherd. They know that they need the group to survive. If they stray off on their own, they might get picked off by a wolf. So sheep follow the crowd in doing what they are supposed to do. Right? Goats, on the other hand, are independently minded. They just go off on their own. They do what they want. They eat garbage, literal trash. They're just kind of these these crazy wild animals that just do whatever they want. So when a shepherd separates sheep from goats, he's kind of separating those who do what they're supposed to do from those who do not do what they were supposed to do. And that's what Jesus says he's going to do for us. Now, here's the great solution that he gives to us. He shows us the test before he gives it to us, right? Wouldn't that be awesome in school, kids, if your teacher shows you the test first so you know what the answers are going to be? That's exactly what Jesus does. How is he going to separate these sheep from the goats? What is his deciding factor for who's a good follower of his and who's a bad follower of his? It's, do you do these concrete acts of love for your neighbors? Because when we do these for other people, we do them for him, he says, right? And so these things that Jesus looks at, feeding the hungry, clothing the naked, visiting the sick, all these sorts of things. These are things that we have traditionally in the church called the corporal works of mercy, right? Corporal meaning they're bodily actions, right? I hand you a piece of food. I give you an article of clothing, right? I hand you a glass of water. They're corporal acts of mercy, works of mercy. I show mercy on you by feeding you when you're hungry. I show mercy on you by clothing you when you're sick. Now, these are concrete actions that we can perform out there in the world, and this time of year is a great time for it. Thanksgiving and Christmas time, people are hyper focused on charity in a way that we are more so than other times in the year. So you might clean out your house and clean out your clothing and your toys and give away things that you don't need anymore or don't want anymore. In part, you're making room for new stuff that's likely to come in, but in part, you're also helping other people this time of year. You might also go out and buy new stuff to donate. That would be a great idea as well. But here's the thing: you don't have to go anywhere to do these concrete acts of love that Jesus says he's going to judge us by. These are things that happen in the family every day. Parents, when you create a meal and you serve it to your family, you're feeding the hungry. Right? Kids, when you help prepare that meal, or you help set the table, or you clean up after it, you're facilitating feeding the hungry. If you have younger siblings and you help them get dressed in the morning, you're clothing the naked, right? You give them water. You're giving drink to the thirsty. When you go visit your grandparents in a nursing home or your grandparents in their home and they don't get out much, you're visiting the imprisoned. They're not in a jail, right? But they're imprisoned in the sense that they're alone. They live in this kind of isolated place. Or maybe it's your next door neighbor, right? These are things you don't have to go far to do. And these are what Jesus says mean the most, especially when we recognize that when we serve our neighbor, our grandparent, our sibling, our parents, our children, we're serving them, but we're also serving Jesus through them. And he is the good shepherd who's coming at the end of time to figure out, are we a sheep? Do we follow and do we do what we're supposed to do? Or are we a goat and do we do what we want to do, even if it means eating trash?